Hello and welcome to Who Wins podcast, where each episode we pit pop culture icons against each other in a brutal fight to the death. This episode we are pitting probably two of the laziest combatants we've ever had against each other as Heathcliff takes on Garfield. I am Chris Bolton. With me, as always, my partner in podcasting, Mr. Mark Williams.
Hello.
And here we go. Okay, so actually, I probably misspoke slightly there because Heathcliff isn't lazy, really.
No, I was going to say.
The difference here.
I was going to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not exactly out running fucking marathons every day.
I mean, he's a cat, and he's a tubby one at that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the difference just in their general activities, like Heathcliff's a street cat, and he's out usually scrapping. He's up to no good. He's trying to tip bins over. Garfield's a lazy cat.
Is what Heathcliff is. A fucking dick. That's what he is.
As you said, cat.
Cat, yeah. I mean, he's definitely one of the best observed cats I think I've ever seen in any media anyway. Because, yeah, cats are fucking dicks. That's why I love them. They're absolute assholes. Whereas Garfield kind of plays more to that kind of lazy house cat kind of...
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Whereas, yeah, as you say, that's kind of the difference. Garfield is your pampered house cat.
Yeah, like Garfield reminds me.
Street cat.
Yeah, Garfield reminds me. My sister-in-law has 3 cats. On 2 now. I think one of them died recently. But they were very much fucking really expensive indoor cats. If they went out, they were taking on leads. Like they were proper. Now they barely took them out anyway. They were happy inside, but they ate really well. They ate better than my brother. It was one of those. It was a standing joke that we used to call the 3 of them Garfield because they all looked the fucking same. Couldn't tell them apart anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always remind me of Garfield because you see them, see meals being put down with them thinking, fuck, they're eating better than we are.
Yeah.
And far more often.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Cats sleep and they eat, or house cats do. I mean, I've got 4 house cats myself. And yeah, they pretty much sleep all day, scrap with each other and eat. That's what they do. And just generally cause as much mischief as they possibly can the second my back is turned.
Yeah. No, so the 3 my brother and his wife have, they don't even do that. They're too lazy to even do that.
Proper
they
Garfields,
just kind of,
then.
They properly sort of stroll around the house. If you happen to be sitting on the sofa, then tough shit, we're going to sit on you because that's our fucking sofa. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was a point where they had quite a lot of spiders coming in. They'd done some work in the garden and they dug it. They disturbed some form of nest, and there was quite a lot of spiders coming through the house at one point. And literally, the cats were too fucking lazy to get out of their way. So most cats would be batting them around.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's definitely not mine.
Not move, just let them crawl over the top of them and carry on scurrying. And like, fucking...
Yeah, no, mine would be all over it. I mean, we've literally today just tiled our hall, and I've had to, before recording, just go and take all of the tile spaces out of the tiles. Tiles are not, like, the adhesive isn't quite dry yet, but in order to let the cats back out of the bedroom where they've been shut away all day so we don't get paw prints in the adhesive, I've had to go and pull all the tile spaces out, because otherwise, the second they come downstairs... Yeah. They're just going to rip those fucking things up, bat them all over the hall, probably swallow one of them, and then that's a trip to the vets. Like, they are trouble. Whereas, just like Heathcliff, he's got that just kind of... You can't say he's nasty, but he is just a dick. He will go out of his way to cause as much trouble for people as possible. That's just something that he does.
There wasn't you trying to knock bins onto people's heads and shit like that.
Oh, that was a running gag with him, wasn't it? He'd always kick bins over and shit like that. Like, I say he's a dick. Like, there was never anything particularly malicious or violent. He was just a dick. Yeah. Like, if he could cause a problem, he would cause a problem, and that is cats. If they can knock something off a table, they'll knock something off a table. If they can hide from you, they'll hide from you. They'll just be dicks.
Yeah. Whereas kids, to be honest,
they are just really, really. Well, I was going to say really, really stupid kids, but actually, I'd wager maybe cats are a little bit more intelligent than your average child.
Yeah. Depends on the age. Depends on the child.
Yeah. But Garfield is definitely that kind of... I mean, and that does exist. I know of cats as well that will literally just sleep all day, get up, eat food, and then that'll be it. And they expect to be waited on hand and foot. Yeah. I've got one that can be like that on occasion, but he's definitely still got more of the Heathcliff sort of troublemaking streak in him as well. I think the problem here is that Garfield is just flat out too lazy. Like, Heathcliff's really going to have to start some shit here for Garfield to even want to get involved.
That's the thing. I mean, you always with Garfield, he would always be fairly acerbic, fairly
Yeah.
sarcastic, fairly witty, but he was apart from kicking Odie in the arse and stuff like that, he would never really start anything because he was too fucking lazy and pretty mellow most of the time. So it would
yeah,
take a while.
he's kind of mellow by design, isn't he? Because he is just lazy, he is chilled out, but he is definitely smarter than Heathcliff. Is the thing.
Yeah,
I think the way this fight goes down is that Heathcliff probably comes out with his claws bared and just goes in all guns blazing, and Garfield's just gonna try and outfox him. Now that's not to say that Heathcliff is thick, because he's still a bit of a schemer, and as you say, he's more streetwise, certainly.
Yeah.
And he just looks nastier is the thing when he's coming at you. He's got like the jagged teeth and the claws, whereas Garfield just looks
Garfield had a proper set of fucking human orthodontized teeth, didn't he?
Yeah, and he had like, well, they're just kind of like Muppet hands almost, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? There's no claws there. They're just like your typical big sort of cartoon character hands.
Yeah.
So I think out of the two, though, he's probably taller, so he's probably got the reach advantage. But that may just be the way he's drawn. I don't know. I mean, they're both kind of just standard moggies, I think. I don't think either of them is like a specialist kind of cat or anything like that. No. They're both just like these ginger moggies.
Yeah.
Is what they are. So there's going to be some sort of height difference, but not majorly. The difference is, I think, that Garfield's going to be he's more intelligent, but if it comes down to the fist fight, he's going to be more of a slugger. Whereas it's going to be more of your just really scrappy fighter. I think it's going to be more throw everything at the wall until something works.
Yeah,
and if none of it works, then just claw his fucking eyes out. He's got the killer instinct, I think, that Garfield just doesn't have.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that even if I'm trying to work out what it would take for Garfield to actually snap, and it's got to be like fucking stealing his lasagna or something like that.
It's absolutely that. It's absolutely just take his food away. I mean, I can tell you try and take food away from a hungry cat, you're going to get bit. I'll tell you that much for nothing. So it is literally that, like you steal his lasagna. And to be fair, like Heathcliff being a street cat, that's a move he would pull if he wants food and there's lasagna.
There's food, I'm taking it.
I mean, don't forget, he's got like an army of street cats to feed as well, because they were like, well, I mean, depending on your iteration, but if you take the cartoon,
well, there were two cartoons actually. I didn't realize there was.
It was kind of the same thing, wasn't it? It was just a different, because the cartoon had, like, you always had a Heathcliff, and then you had another cartoon, so it was a bit like
Garfield and Friends.
Yeah, it was that sort of thing where with Garfield and Friends you had Odie and sometimes would have his own show, and then you'd have Orwell's Farm sometimes would be on it.
Yes.
It was that kind of thing, but it was. I think if I remember rightly, the main chunk of it, it's certainly the one I remember, and I used to fucking love Heathcliff. I'm sure it'll pop up on SMPD at some point. I'm pretty sure it's on our list. I haven't rewatched it for this at all because my memory of it is so good. But they had the Cadillac Cats.
Yeah,
was the one that I remember the most being on.
That was the main one. That was the second cartoons. There was one in 1980. Which was called, I've lost it now.
There was one with like monsters.
Yeah.
Well, no, they weren't really monsters, but it was more kind of. Let me see if I can remember this. There was something like a vampire.
Yeah, so it was a dog, wasn't it? Yeah, he used to drink everything through like a bat-shaped straw.
Yeah. Sort of like almost a proto-duckula kind of thing, but an actual vamp. So there was that, but no, I'm talking more about
that was Heathcliff and Dingbat.
Dingbat, okay, maybe that's what that character's name was.
Yeah, the name was Dingbat, and then they spun off into Heathcliff and Marmaduke as well.
Oh, okay, so maybe Dingbat was I mean, obviously, I'm not that familiar with the funny papers in America, so I know Heathcliff comes from a comic strip just like Garfield does.
I'm pretty
sure maybe Dingbat does as well. Then I know Marmaduke does.
Yeah, Marmaduke does. I don't know where Dingbat came from, but there was a 1980 series which was done by Ruby Spears for Warner Brothers, and that was the one that had Dingbat and had Marmaduke in it. Whereas the Heathcliff and the Cadillac was done. Cadillac Cats was done by Deke.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was. So one was an American production, one was a French Canadian production. So they were slightly different. But yeah, I mean, the 84 version, the Deke version, was the one I remembered.
Yeah, it's the one I remember as well. I have seen the other one as well. I can't say that I even noticed that much difference between, or maybe there was, and I just didn't realize as a kid. And
They
it's
look very
now
similar. The style is very similar.
maybe I've got that kind of Mandela effect going on now, and I think it's all the same sort of thing. But regardless, he's got this kind of street cat army that he kind of needs to provide for as well, and he's got a girlfriend, so he's got all of this. So it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that he would just try and swipe a lasagna. I don't think.
No.
And let's face it, like Odie's going to do nothing to stop him. No. So it's all going to be down to Garfield. And then you almost kind of think, like, if he's got if the lasagna gets stolen, that's going to annoy him enough. Yeah. But then he's going to be double annoyed because he's going to have to get off his ass and do something about it. It's almost like the act of being annoyed is going to annoy him.
Yeah.
Because he's got to do something other than sit around and mope, basically.
Well, yeah, that's it. And you think that, I mean, I can almost sort of see it whereby, and they used to do it in cartoons all the time, where somebody gets them and they roll up their non-existent sleeves so that their fur or whatever it is that on their arm rolls up a bit, and they clump along, and you get the tuba music, and I can just sort of see it building up where he's almost to a point where he's like, I can see the fucker who's got my lasagna. He's 10 yards away, but I can't be asked to walk that far. And yeah, maybe go as far as the front door and then go, oh fuck it, I can't be.
Now here's the key to the fight for me is that, like, yes, he's going to get pissed off because it's been stolen, and yeah, he might roll his sleeves up and stomp over, but I don't think he'd ever actually get his hands dirty. That's what Odie's for.
And that's it. He would try and scheme. He'd try and get Odie to do it, or he'd try and scheme to get it back. He wouldn't just try and take it. No.
Whereas I think Heathcliff, if pushed, would straight away be on the attack. He'd just be like, "No, I'm going to claw your fucking face off, pal." Yeah. And I'm going to, he'd be going full on EC dub. The dustbins would come out, and he'd just smash him over the head with it.
Yeah, whatever, sort of leg of whatever carcass is in the bin, he'd just be twatting him with that.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever he gets hands on.
Put Garfield to one side for the moment. If Garfield sends Odie in, which I'm inclined to allow in this instance, because honestly, it's a non-starter. Like, Heathcliff would rip him apart in seconds. Like, you put, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a cat owner, but anytime you put a cat and a dog in a fight, like 9 times out of 10, that cat is going to fucking win.
I mean, cats are far more vicious. I mean, dogs are a greater deal more domesticated than cats.
Definitely. And they're stupider.
And unless you've got a dog that has been sort of bred for dog fighting and shit like that, and reared that way, then generally, as you said, 9 times out of 10, the cat is going to swipe it across the nose, and the dog's going to fuck off yelping.
Yeah, exactly. And the dog's slower. Like, cats will just. I've seen it. I'll never forget my nan's cat when I was very, very young. There was a dog next door. I'll never forget. She had a couple of cats, and they were all ferals. They just came to her. She fed cats, and they just moved in. Yeah. That's probably where I got it from. I don't know, but I'll never forget one of the cats just jumping on the back of the dog next door. Like, literally, they started fighting. The cat just jumped on its back and tore its fucking ear off. Just stayed on its back and just gnawed at the ear, and the dog could not get it off. He was just shaking this cat. The cat dug in and just stayed on its fucking back, bit its fucking ear off. Like, that's cats for you.
Yeah. Now, the only thing I will say with Odie, though, Odie's probably like the Black Knight in Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Yeah, because he's so stupid, he's not going to realize you've bitten his ear off. He's just going to go back again. Yeah, so and he's going to see. Yeah, he's going to see Heathcliff as someone to play with as well, isn't he? Yeah. Like,
and while he's ripping his ears off and his legs off, he's probably thinking, "Oh, he's playing with me. He likes me. What else can I do?"
It's quite cruel, really, isn't it? Like, Heathcliff's going to just systematically pull him apart, basically, like a fucking stuffed animal. And the worst part of all of that is, even if Garfield sees him just completely ripped apart in front of his eyes, he's not going to give a flying fuck. He's just not going to care, because he's that much of a prick. He's just going to be like, "Oh, whatever, it wasn't me. I should be thankful for that. Yeah. But I still haven't got my lasagna, so maybe it's time to send John in."
Well, saying that, I mean, would he try and sneak his lasagna back while he's preoccupied with Odie?
That's a Garfield move, definitely.
That's a very Garfield move. It's right. I'll send the distraction over there, and as long as it's good enough and lasts long enough, I can get in there and get my lasagna back and fuck off before anyone realizes.
He definitely would. I think The problem you've got though is like, yes, he'll have his lasagna back, so he's contented as far as he's concerned. But he's now like for Heathcliff, it's not just like he started off as stealing a lasagna, but now he's pissed.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, realistically, once Garfield gets lasagna back, he ain't taking it home. He's going to stand still and eat the bloody thing.
Of course he is, and I mean, look, okay, so you could argue he's carb loading, but you don't carb load immediately before a fight. Like,
Yep.
you know, when a fight is imminent, you carb load maybe a couple of days before, and the night before you do exercise. Yeah, but you don't do it like, oh, I'm about to fight in like 10 seconds. I'm going to fill my stomach full of something that will expand very quickly and release carbs. That's just a very bad idea.
Oh, interesting thing I found when I did the half marathon was that carb loading on diabetic medication, really bad idea.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
It tries to kick the carbs at you. So I basically spent all night pissing.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So I done it really well. I sort of built up and lots of fruit, and then the evening before I had pizza, and I was there. I think my carb load extended to pizza and a tube of Pringles. But yeah, I was up all night just with my body go, nope, you can't have that. You can't. So I woke up in the morning feeling fucking weaker than I would if I'd just been eating fruit all day.
Yeah, I mean, I remember carb loading before doing the 3 peaks, and I'm not diabetic, but I carb loaded like fuck the night before, and all I wanted to do all the way up in the van was sleep.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see what effect it had on me, because all I wanted to do was fucking. I mean, as it happens, we had like fucking 8 hours to sleep anyway, so it wasn't a problem because you're driving to fucking Scotland, so it wasn't a problem. But had I just got on that mountain within a few hours, I'd have been fucked. And that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We're talking about eating a lasagna and then immediately going into a fight. He's just going to be sick. He's going to feel tired and sick. So what's going to happen here?
Yeah. Well, am I right in remembering that he occasionally used a fork to eat lasagna? Like sometimes he just hefted it up and poured it up. But other times, I'm sure he had a fork on occasion. In which case, no, is that allowable?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a fork. He definitely had a bib. I've seen him with a bib many times.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a fork and a bib. So I mean, if we're allowing Heathcliff to have bins and shit.
Oh, I'll allow. Yeah, look, these are cats. This is a knockdown. I mean, it's fight to the death anyway, but this is a knockdown, drag out street fight. I mean, still no guns. Like it's always been no guns. Always been no guns. But I think a fork is allowable. Same as a bin is allowable, or trash can for our American listeners. But yeah, I mean that's the thing though, isn't it? Garfield come in with a fork. If Heathcliff's got a bin lid,
it's Indiana Jones, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's going to stab him with a fork, and in comes the bin lid. You know, you got fucking Captain America there with the fucking bin lid, just batting him away and just fucking whip the lid at Garfield's head. And that's a big fucking melon to hit with a bin lid as well. Like Garfield's got a fucking big head and 2 big bulbous eyes that you could easily just get the claws into, and just like squish them like grapes, I guess. Just not squish them, pierce them. Squishing them would involve crushing. I'm really fucking tired tonight. Sorry. Yeah, no, it doesn't work so well.
No, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I think it's going to come down to being more or less a sort of just gutter fight, isn't it?
It is. And what I'm trying to establish is if, like, Garfield's always going to try and think his way around this and scheme his way out of it. What I'm trying to establish is if pushed to the edge, has he got it in him? That's what I'm trying to establish.
I think so. I mean, we do see, certainly in Garfield and Friends, and I mean, I've not read many of the comic strips, but certainly Garfield and Friends, and in the new version, there's a CGI version on Netflix, which is fucking awful.
This is CGI Garfield.
It's either on Netflix or
is this like the film fucking version? Because
this is
those are fucking bad.
This is worse.
Oh shit!
This is like New Care Bears, New Popples version fucking bad. I didn't even know it existed until Saturday. Number 2 was watching it, but yeah, you see in that he does have buttons you can push. He does have limits. I think as you go more and more, I mean, Garfield and Friends was early 90s, I think. Can't remember now. So, 94, 88 to 94. So it was earlier than I thought. But yes, I mean, it was they very much focused on we're making a moving version of the comic strip. Yeah. So he was quick-witted in terms of his the things he would say. He was very sarcastic. He was quite cutting at times. But he was generally very friendly and far too fucking lazy to do anything. In this one, he's far more active.
Okay.
But to a point where he's not pretty much housebound and will go as far as the garden fence now. They put him in different places and different scenarios, and I'm sure there was one where him and Odie were trying to catch a ghost the other day. So I mean,
he ceases to become Garfield at that point,
well,
doesn't
yeah,
it? It's
that's it.
losing the central concept of what that character is, which
Yeah.
is, you see him at like the dinner table and the couch. That's.
And they kind of did that with the films as well, didn't they? The ones in the aughts. I didn't see the second one where I think it was a sort of Tale of Two Cities rip, wasn't it? The second one, but the
I don't
first
know.
one.
I don't think I watched the second one because the first one was so fucking atrocious.
Yeah, I remember it coming out. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember seeing it, but yeah, even in that, there's a lot of the character in there, but they just put it in the wrong scenario. They tried too much to make it a kids action film.
Yeah, and it's not that.
And that's not Garfield.
No, it needs to have that kind of comic strip vibe. It needs to be full of acerbic humor. It needs to be, short, punchy gags. See also Peanuts.
Yeah.
And actually, Heathcliff as a show, and as I say, we'll look at Heathcliff on SMPD, but from what I remember Heathcliff being, that took more of that approach as well, in that they put him out into the wider world slightly. Like, he's confined to a town, but they put him out into the wider world slightly, and there was plots to each episode.
Yeah, but I mean, that kind of fit because he was an outdoor cat. He was a street cat.
Yeah. Well, and you had the whole gang of the Cadillac cats as well.
Yeah, so that kind of worked.
Yeah. So whereas Garfield is literally just about, where am I getting food from? How can I annoy Odie? Like, that's the whole central premise.
How badly can I take the piss out of John today?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what can I do to annoy everyone? Actually, maybe Garfield and Heathcliff are more alike even than we thought, because Garfield does annoy people quite a lot. He just does it in a different way, doesn't he?
Yes, it's a different way. I mean, the other one I was thinking today, actually, and it was too late to speak to you about it, was Top Cat as well. There would have been a lot of scope for Top Cat in here as well.
I thought that a couple of days ago as well, actually. I think if you throw Top Cat into the fight, though, I think it is over instantly. I think he's clearly got it over both the other, like, very similar, I think, to Heathcliff, but with Garfield's intellect is the thing there. He's kind of the master race here. He's a blend of the two.
Yeah, true.
Like, I don't think either of them have got, like, he's taller to start with.
Yes.
He's essentially a fucking crime boss. Like, if you take him out, you're essentially putting a hit on the Don at that point. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Everybody's and like, God help you piss off Benny. Like, that's just a little ball of rage right there. He's just waiting to explode. It never happened in the show, but like, you just look at him and think, I bet he's the one. Like, if they made a live action Top Cat, he'd be Joe Pesci, wouldn't he? He'd be the one where you're just waiting. Like, all film, he's pleasant, he's funny, and he's just bubbling over under the surface.
It wouldn't surprise me if somebody had overdubbed Goodfellas onto a scene of that.
Yeah, he's just, because he's the sort of slightly dim-witted, smaller, but you just know he's going to fucking explode at some point.
A massive little person complex.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I did think that as well, and then I thought, no, if we throw Top Cat in, it's literally like anything any of the others potentially have, Top Cat just trumps him, because he's got all of Garfield's smarts and his scheming, and he's got all of the street smarts of Heathcliff. Plus, like, again, he could roll his sleeves up and get stuck in. I reckon he can throw a punch.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, look, you don't wear a waistcoat on its own like that unless you can throw down, because that's a pretty bold fashion statement. Yes. That is like, he's showing those arms off there. Like, that's a pretty fucking bold fashion statement. If this was modern times, he'd be wearing a fucking tank or a cut-off vest, wouldn't he? Like, let's be honest. Incidentally, as well, Top Cat, again, for American viewers, Boss Cat, same thing. Tomato. I don't know why it's different over here. It just is.
It's just something
that's the right way round, isn't it? Yeah, Boss Cat is America with Top Cat. Because I kind of used the two interchangeably as a kid because of cable, and I got very fucking confused. This is one of the first examples of that kind of divide between the two cultures that really fucking confused me, because I was like, they're wrong, but actually no, we're wrong, because that's where it originated from.
Yeah, but
So
I mean, it's not wrong. It's a licensing thing, isn't it? So I mean, no, it was licensed here as Top Cat, so it's right. It's just
yeah,
not. It's the
just
same with Turtles, wasn't it? You know, they changed it for whatever reason. I mean, we know why they changed that, but they
well,
changed
they
Boss Cat
changed
to
it
Top Cat.
because ninjas are
Ninja,
evil.
yeah. But I mean, they changed it from Boss Cat to Top Cat, obviously for a reason, and it's just one of those that I don't know what that reason is. But neither is technically wrong.
Just in case there are any ninjas listening, I don't think you're evil. That was me
No,
just saying what was
that was the Tory government of the 1990s.
Yeah, please don't hunt me down and cut me into small pieces. Like, I don't think you're evil.
Well, if you want this address, tweet me. I've got some people you can finish off on the way.
Hey, look, I've got 4 cats. I'm safe, mate. you gotta get past those bastards first. And a dragon. So fuck you all.
That's true. Yeah.
Wait, fucking hell, where were we? We've done all right. It's been nearly half hour before we went off topic, and technically we're not massively off topic either. Well, no. I guess ninjas are off topic, I suppose.
Yeah, but it kind of came from a point.
Sort of, if this show ever has a point.
As near as damn it.
Where were we? Yeah, so they're more alike actually than I realised, perhaps. And again, it just does come down to that fact of, like, the reason Top Cat would beat both of them is because when the chips are down, like when it ultimately comes down to it, you know he can throw down because he can go toe to toe with Heathcliff.
Yeah,
but he can also outsmart Garfield. So the question is, when you remove that, those two styles are so fundamentally different. That kind of ball of rage that Heathcliff would turn into, and that kind of more laid back, I'm going to think my way around this attitude that you get from Garfield. It's going to be a case of, is Heathcliff going to blow himself out first, or is Garfield going to lose his temper first? And then if Garfield loses his temper, how is he as a fighter? Because he's definitely got the power advantage. He's got the weight. I'm pretty sure he might be a bit taller.
I think he looks a little bit bigger.
He's lankier in his legs because Heathcliff is quite squat. Heathcliff almost looks like a female cat as opposed to a tomcat when you look at his stature. Yeah. Not the way they draw female cats in Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, because oh boy,
all kinds of trouble there. I think you're right though. I mean, Garfield is drawn as more humanoid.
Yes, definitely.
No, the legs are longer. The paunch is definitely there, so the shape of the body is definitely bigger. And the size of that fucking Swede as well.
It's a fucking
big old head.
It's a big fucking melon in it. If he sticks that nut on you.
Yeah.
But whereas Heathcliff is just he's just a ball.
Yeah, he's kind of stocky, isn't he?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, I suppose it's that kind of small man rage thing, isn't it? Where he's just going to become this fucking mass of claws that's coming at you. So that's the key for me. Is Garfield at any point just going to go, do you know what? Fuck this, and just slam dunk him? I don't think so. I don't think he would either.
I think when we have seen Garfield, certainly, I'm drawing this entirely on Garfield and Friends because it's the only one I'm really familiar with. But when he would get into fights, they were always slap fights now, where he's sort of batting somebody else's hands away, and then you sort of kind of see the hands sort of moving really quickly in front of each other. That's the only real fight you ever had. You would cheap shot Odie quite a lot.
Yeah,
but when it actually came to it, he didn't really fight anybody, and he didn't look like he knew what the fuck he was doing. It was just trying to keep people away.
Yeah, I remember having a Garfield animated movie on VHS when I was a kid. It was called The 9 Lives of Garfield. I used to fucking love it. And it was basically Garfield throughout history. So it was his 9 lives, in each time period.
Yeah.
And even, some of these time periods would be fraught by war. And even so, he was still just the emperor who's on the throne, just commanding everyone else. He was not
he was
getting
a massive
his
fucking
hands.
coward.
Yeah, he's not getting his hands dirty.
Yeah. Now, on that, actually, it's quite funny you've mentioned that, because you've got the vision of him being a bit like the bot on Futurama, the one that's always laid out on a stool and is being carried around and being fanned and all that sort of shit. And Garfield was always the same. I can't remember the character's name in Calculon, I think it was me. Mm-hmm. But I can also see Fatty Arbuckle doing that in something. Now, I knew it was John Arbuckle. I knew Garfield was fat. I never put those two things together. Garfield is fucking Fatty Arbuckle.
I never put that together till
I-
you just spelled it out to me.
I've never put that together.
We're really stupid.
We are really stupid.
We are really stupid.
It's only taken 20 years for us to realize that, but yeah.
Yeah, we're really fucking stupid. Yeah, you're dead right. I think you're dead right. It still comes down to though. Does it? Is he stupid enough though, or lazy enough to just sit there and be clawed to death? And I don't think
I don't think he is, but I don't think he's going to know how to get away from it once it starts. Because he ain't going to fucking run, is he?
He's certainly not going to run.
Especially not if he's full of lasagna.
No, it's going to come down to it has to come down to a fist fight, doesn't it? With these two, the cats are there. There's no way that Garfield can outfox this.
No,
because it's like, yeah, okay, Heathcliff's maybe not quite as smart, but he's certainly no slouch.
He's smart enough.
Yeah, and by the time
he's got the street smarts. He's going to be. He's going to. I mean, he gets into fights quite often, so I mean, he's going to know what's coming. He's going to know how it works. So I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's been taken by surprise by it. Whereas Garfield, I think, will, because I think Garfield will. I think Garfield would be one of those people, were he a person, that would kind of see himself in other people. Well, I'm too fucking lazy to fight him, so he's going to be too lazy to fight me. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see a fight.
That's what he would be. I think he would almost try and talk him down off the ledge, in as much as, like, you know, we don't want to do this. Like, you know, he wouldn't share his lasagna, but he's going to be like, we don't want to do this. You don't want to fight me.
He might have a spare lasagna, like a smaller one you give him or something.
He still wouldn't give it to him, would he? Like, it's not going to happen.
No. Maybe the side salad.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. He's not giving any fucking lasagna away. So if it comes down to a straight fight, then it is about, is it the viciousness and the kind of street brawling of Heathcliff,
so.
Or is it the just raw? It is raw strength with Garfield. He would have strength.
But I mean, again, strength doesn't necessarily equate to any sort of fighting acumen.
It doesn't, no. So I think you've got to give it to Heathcliff. I think it is just going to be, you know, Garfield swipes that lasagna back. After pulling Odie limb from limb, he's pissed Heathcliff off.
Yeah,
and he's just going to jump on him and again just rip him to shreds. And
well, that's it. I mean, Heathcliff at this point has worked for that lasagna because the dog's come to get it back.
Yeah, and
he's earned it now. He's not only has he stolen it and walked away with it, he's disembodied a dog. So that's his fucking lasagna now. He's earned it.
It's going to be fur and fangs flying, isn't it? He's just going to pounce on him. He's just scram them big bulbous fucking eyes.
The only thing I can see happening though is that'll happen. You get blood in the lasagna and then not want to eat it.
I mean, maybe he doesn't eat the lasagna. I think at this point for him, it's not the lasagna. It's that you set a fucking dog on me. You
set a dog on me and you stole from me, you twat.
Yeah, so now I'm going to fuck you up. And then if it really came down to it, he could, you know, just run off, get his car, and fucking drive over him.
Oh, yeah.
Because for some reason Heathcliff can drive a car.
Well, obviously, why not?
You know, I don't know. Why? I guess why not?
If Garfield can use a knife and fork, Heathcliff can drive a car.
They can both talk. I mean, yeah, there is that. Garfield's still got the knife and fork. You know, has he got a cheap shot up his sleeve? I guess is the thing.
I don't know. I mean, again,
but as I say, if Heathcliff's got the bin lids, then that's not going to do anything, is it?
Well, no, that's it. He's either using them as a shield to knock him out of his hand, or he's going to clang him around his ears and make his head vibrate.
Yeah, I think he just goes full fucking. Yeah, he just goes full street fight on him, doesn't he? He just throws everything at him, pulls him apart, gouges his eyes out, beats him within an inch of his life, and then
fucks Pookie for the sake of it.
Yeah, and then just fucking ends it. I it's going to be a fucking claw across the throat or something, isn't it? It's going to be proper street style.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a ping.
He's going to give him a bit of a Chelsea smile, isn't he? It's going to be full on. Yeah, I think poor old Garfield is out before he starts. I don't think there's any kind of trap that he could lay or anything other than sending Odie in.
Which again, that's not going to do fucking much, is it?
No, the only
toddler in.
The only way he's getting around Heathcliff is either to bribe him with more food, which he's never going to do because it's food, or, you know, at the end of the day, he's a street cat. He'd maybe have room for bribing him there with like a roof over his head and, you know, this and that and the other, but that's only going to last so long. You know, we go back to that mob mentality with Top Cat there, and sooner or later he's just going to get hungry for more. Well,
not only that, I mean, he's stick a roof over his head, but then that's going to lead to conflict because all of a sudden there will be less food in the house for Garfield to eat.
Yeah, I mean Heathcliff did have a house. He was a street cat, but he did live
Yeah.
with that. There was an old man and a boy. I can't remember the
Mm.
names now, but he used to annoy the piss out of the old man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of their names now. But so he did have somewhere to go. But that's the only other bargaining chip that Garfield's got, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything there. I mean, I don't. I came into this not. I mean, I remember Garfield and Friends very well. I remember Heathcliff quite well. And I was thinking about it, thinking there's not. No, there are a lot of similarities. There's not that much between them, but the characters just don't lend themselves
that's the
to
thing.
combat.
There's a
As they,
fundamental difference to the characters, I think,
yeah.
in that one is nasty and one isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking earlier on. I made a comment on SMPD last week about my kids doing gladiators, and I said that one would kick the fuck out of the other, whereas the other one would just want to play gladiators.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same here. Heathcliff would want to fuck him up, and
Yeah.
Garfield would just want to go to sleep.
Yes, totally. That's what it would be, Garfield. And we've seen this a few times on the show as well. I don't think it's that Garfield is incapable of killing. I think you could push him to the point where he could kill, but I think he lacks the kind of killer instinct that you need to just get involved in a fight.
I think it's the sort of the motivation to do anything remotely physical. I think it's he might get angry. He might think, I'm going to fuck this thing up, but that takes effort, and I don't want to get up.
Yeah,
I've just got comfortable on my sofa. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, he's fucking dolly, isn't he? He's just gonna fucking sit there, eat his lasagna, and watch Jeremy Kyle. Yeah. That's his thing. Yeah, he's not gonna get involved.
No, I don't think he is. I think that Heathcliff is going to quite easily just walk that one. I think Heathcliff's biggest problem would be himself and punching himself out.
Whether he blew himself out, which maybe would be a tactic that Garfield would employ, but even so, I think that the fundamental difference between the two is that Heathcliff would be hungrier for a victory.
Garfield would just be hungry.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Heathcliff just tears him apart, takes a piss on both him and Odie from a great height, and steals all the fucking lasagna. Then goes back to fucking driving his car and knobbing his weirdly proportioned lady cat girlfriend.
Whose name I've been trying to remember. I can't fucking think.
I can't think of her name either. But she's like, she's weird and creepy. Unless you're a furry, I guess, which I suppose is kind of the point, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
God bless you if you're a furry, more power to you, but I don't get you. I'm sorry.
No, me either. But there you go. So in the, I would say battle, but it wasn't really much of one between Garfield and Heathcliff. Heathcliff walks it. As always, if you think we've got that one wrong, if you want to get in touch, by all means do so on Twitter at ddpodcastnet. You can go to our website, ddpodcast.net, where you can find our previous episodes and our other shows as well. On Facebook and YouTube with the Double M Podcast Network. Wherever you get your podcasts from, be it iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon Music. Like, share, subscribe, leave us a message, and we'll get back to you as best we can. But until next time.
See you later.